from Practical Performance Car here, and I'm here with Kieran Knowles and his lovely Kadett. Hi.
Hi.
Now this it's a great colour.
Thank you.
You're saying it's the original colour?
It is, it's called Smoke Blue. It's the original colour. It left the factory in 1982, and probably the only thing I left standard.
It took you a while to build this, didn't it?
It did. So I bought it in May 2015.
Yeah.
Drove it for about three or 4 hours home.
Well, just as a standard car, drove it home?
Bog standard 1200S with a 4-speed gearbox.
Right. So revving its nads off all the way home?
I hit 80 and decided to slow right down. It wasn't, I didn't enjoy it. But yeah, it was a bog standard car, said in this colour. I always wanted an old car, so this was the one.
Why Kadett?
Well, my twin brother's got a Chevette.
Right.
He bought it a year or two before me, so it sort of spurred me on to get myself a classic car.
And you decided something GM based was going to be...
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the old Vauxhalls. I like my Fords, but obviously I've always been more biased towards the Vauxhall brand,
Right.
especially the older ones, growing up, Novas and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, originally I went to look at Mark 1 Astra GTE. It wasn't quite right, unfortunately. This was, I think it was like Scarborough Way. Again, it was on Facebook.
Right.
It was my twin brother that found it.
Was it?
Yeah, so the lady I bought it off, she was kind enough to, she took videos, cold started it, sent us loads of pictures,
Right.
and all the problem areas. It was a genuine sort of 30-odd-year-old car, and my brother worded it. When I went to look at the GT, he turned around and said to me, when we left, I was a bit disappointed, but he said to me, why don't you just buy a bog standard model and do what you want to it?
Yeah.
You don't want to like modify a GTE because they need to be left as is. Get a bog standard one and do what you want to it. And I always knew I was going to put a bigger engine in, stuff like that.
Well, let's get to that, Kieran. You said it took you 8 years. What have you done to it?
The 8 years was more of a personal time scale, obviously family life and stuff
Yeah,
like
but
that.
you can't spend all day
No,
working on it.
no,
You've got other
love
things
to.
do.
Love to. So obviously stripped it down to a bare shell, nut and bolt. I had it sandblasted in engine bay underneath, which revealed all the problem areas, which were going to come out in a few years' time, like little
Yeah.
pinholes. So body-wise, it's had a bare shell respray in the original colour. It's had new old stock bonnet, wing, 2 doors, rear quarter panel, rear panel. I put a GT front panel on it.
Have you done all this yourself?
No, I'm very fortunate that one of my oldest friends and a good friend of his and mine, they own the one body repair shop.
Oh, that is
So
fortunate, yeah.
no, I was fortunate.
It's the kind of friends you need, isn't it?
It very much so, yeah. And obviously they did I think a fantastic job with the paint.
Yeah.
So you had all that done. They handed it back to me as a painted shell, and then so engine-wise, it's running a 2-litre red top, the C20XE.
Right.
It's been completely rebuilt from the bottom end up, so bottom end's been reground, rebalanced, new shells. Piston-wise, the bores were scored, so it's been rebored, oversized pistons, and then cost-cast cylinder head with like racing valves, a bit of headwork, bit of porting and polishing stuff. So it's running a standard 5-speed F20 gearbox.
Right.
I've got a ram air filter on it, but yeah, standard injection everything at the moment. And the whole purpose of the build was turnkey, getting it, start it up, go for a drive. So I've got the performance and reliability.
Yeah.
I opted not to go for the turbos and stuff like that. These cars don't weigh anything.
Yeah, what do they weigh?
I think it might be about 1,300 kilos or less.
Right. And how much power have you got?
I'm not sure, because obviously I've only done about 3,000 miles with the engine, so
Right.
standard there may be 156 brake horse.
What would it have had originally with its 1200?
I think when it left the factory, I think because it was a 1200S, it was around 50 brake horsepower.
So it's got 3 times the power.
More, yeah, at least, yeah. So
It's a good start, isn't it?
yeah, it makes it a bit more interesting. So.
And what have you done with the brakes?
So front brakes are Willwood 4-pots, 284mm drill and groove discs. The rear disc brakes are for Mark 4 Astra SRI.
Right.
Handbrake's been modified to work with a standard Mark 1 setup. 260mm on the back.
Right.
And then it's a Mark 3 Astra turbo diesel master cylinder.
Right.
With pressure reducing valves to the rear, so stop any locking up and stuff like that.
So have you got a servo on it then? Or?
Yeah, it's servo assisted, yeah.
I imagine it's really quite nice to drive.
Yeah, no, it's comfortable. I mean, obviously I've drove 208 miles today.
Not just to see us, I hasten to add.
No, obviously I've come to the VB08. And yeah, we did one stop, but it just sits. I can sit at 70 nicely. It's not too bad on fuel. Interior wise, the Mark 1 Astra GT Recaro seats.
Right.
It's a standard rear bench, which it used to be blue, so I actually dyed it dark grey to match, so it's a bit more in keeping. But this weekend I'm picking up some the Opel Blitz material with the Opel emblem that goes down the middle.
You're going to have them recovered.
Get them retrimmed.
Right.
So obviously, like any project car, it's never finished. So
you'll be saying that in 10 years' time.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, probably, yeah.
Well, so, perhaps you take me out for a quick spin in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanks very much, Kieran.
Pleasure.
And thank you, Harley, for letting me nick your seat for a bit. Very kind of you. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share with your friends and your enemies and your grandma and anyone else, your dog. And you might consider becoming a Patreon supporter of Practical Performance Car. It's quite a lot of effort and time involved in putting these videos together. If you could support us on Patreon, it would help us to continue doing that. It starts from just £2 a month. What can you buy for £2, Harley? Not even ice cream. An ice lolly?
Yeah,
right, we can get an ice lolly for £2, but if you don't fancy an ice lolly, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Thanks very much, see you next time.